Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in for today's video. It's Bree here with Let's Talk Tech, and today's video is going to be on part 2 of applying instructional strategy based on the learning theory. So today's topic is on behavioralism, so let's go ahead and get into it. Behavioralism, it talks about positive and negative reinforcements, reward and punishment. So we know with Pavlov's classic conditioning is the association between two stimuli, where his experiment talked about or incorporated dogs salivating at the sound of the bell. And it started from back then, he realized that the dogs would even salivate once they heard his assistant's footsteps coming with food. And eventually he moved it along to the bell and realized that when the association was there, any association that associated with the food, it was going to cause the dogs to salivate. The next type of conditioning with behavioralism is operant conditioning, which is B.F. Skinner's studies, where he conditioned the rats to press or peek at the lever, the pigeons, to obtain pellets of food. So he would put a hungry rat in the Skinner box, and eventually, as the rat is moving around, he accidentally hits the lever and food comes down. So after a couple of times of doing this, the rat automatically remembered, okay, when I go into this box, I'm going to hit this lever and it's going to get food. So it basically revealed that the organism will omit responses which are gradually shaped by the consequences, whether that be a positive or negative consequence. However, if the response or the consequence is positive and it's a reward, it will more likely to happen again with the rats and hitting the lever and getting food. But I'm sure if they hit the lever and nothing happened, they probably wouldn't hit the lever again because it didn't benefit them or it wasn't positive to the rat in some type of way. So the association is between the behavior and the consequence. How do we apply this to learning? Um, well, we know that if we give praise or we give a award for a good paper or a good grade or putting in effort, the learner will most likely keep that trait up to get their reward or whatever different type of reward there is. Behaviorism also talks about the learners being passive in their learning process, which means that there is more of a teacher-centered structure. They're getting the information. There is a dissemination of information from the instructor to the learner. There's a lot of recalling facts, defining concepts, explanations, and performing procedures repetitively to make sure the learner is understanding and getting it. They respond to learner content, demonstrating a level of performance for specific goals and objectives. That's where those rewards in. They know they've hit this level. Oh, that's a reward. That's my certificate. That's my praise that I'm getting. Or I know that I've conquered this objective, so now I can move on to the next one. With behavioralism, the steps are small incremental tasks that allow the learner to acquire successful completion of instruction. So you don't give everything at once, you kind of give it small. Complete this task, okay, now go to the next task and let them build upon each other. So some things that we can do in our instructional strategy for teaching is incorporate drills, question and answer, the guided practice, a regular review of concepts. So maybe even as you go to your next topic 5.2, you make sure you have an activity or some type of discussion that reviews 5.1. You definitely want to have those positive reinforcements, the praise, the rewards, added privileges. Those differ depending on what level of education you are, because you definitely have more things that you can do in a regular classroom if you're K through 12 versus maybe higher education or in the workforce. Um, and again, those all can differ. Personal motivations for or I guess for behavioralist learning would be the good grades, again, the recognition, pleasing a higher authority. For K through 12, that might be pleasing their teacher, it might be pleasing their mentor, pleasing their parent. They get that praise. For maybe higher education, it might just be to please themselves or still please their parent, or for a reward, pleasing their boss when you go into the workforce. Some instructional materials that you can kind of set up in your behaviorist learning environment: tests, quizzes. If they get good grades on their tests, their quizzes, that's praise. Yeah, I did this, question and answer. Direct instruction of materials, and mastery learning. With the mastery learning is that once they show that skill or complete that assessment, they are deemed they have deemed to have mastered that or topic or whatever it is that they need to master, that those learning objectives. So those are really good instructional strategies that you can put in your course. So just talk about some references. To learn more about effective online teaching, you can definitely check out this book by Miss Tina, Effective Online Teaching. All right, so that was today's video on Applying Instructional Strategy Part 2, Behavioralism. Thanks for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified when our next video for Part 3 comes out. And thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk Tech.